Hello friends, welcome to next tutorial in ChatGPT RPA series. In today's blog, we'll demo the process of converting text, CSV or other data files to other formats. And we'll also learn about the file compression and decompression techniques. Below in video description, you will find links to GitHub source code and YouTube playlist. So let's browse to our GitHub RPA repository. Inside this RPA GitHub repository, if you're looking for other Python automation related code, you'll find links to tons of different examples which perform variety of different tasks. In today's blog, our main emphasis will be on the file conversion and compression techniques. So let's get started. In this section, we'll start with converting a simple text file to CSV. So before you started, make sure that you have a package called CSV installed. In case if you don't, please run pip install CSV. All right. Next thing you want to do, I'm going to import the CSV. And let's define a generic function which converts the text to CSV. Now this function takes three parameters: input file, output file, and the delimiter. So by default, CSV files are mostly comma separated values. So by default, the delimiter value is equals to comma. Let's include some generic documentation for this function. So as I stated earlier, it accepts three different parameters: input file, output file, delimiter. All right, now let's code the body of this function. So first we are going to open this input file in read mode, and we are going to use the with context. Now advantage of using Python with context is remember to close the file pointer. So you don't need to explicitly call file.close. So with open, and we are going to open that file input file in a read mode, and lines equals to f.read lines. That means I'm going to read all the lines of that input file. Now simply all we need to do, we need to line by line, we need to read that from the lines, and then we are going to strip it by the comma. So because CSV file is comma separated, so we are reading each line and we are just separating it by comma, and we are taking each line one at a time, and we are going to append it and write it to an output file. Very simple. So I'm using with this statement and calling that output file, opening that file in a write mode, and then simply we'll just call the function called csv.writer, and we are going to write the rows. All right. Now let's save this. So now this generic function has been defined. What we can do, we can call this function, and by providing these three different parameters what we just did. So input file, it could be any input file in txt format, and output file, this is the file where you want to create a CSV file, and simply call this function. So input file, output file, and I can leave that blank here because delimiter we have already defined as the default value, comma. So I think that's pretty much it. That's what it takes to convert a text to CSV file. Now let's go move on to how you convert to CSV to DSV. Now CSV to DSV is not that different. The only difference from comma separated value to delimiter separated value is in DSV you can define your old delimiter value. So simply just like comma, here we can use a pipe delimiter, or it could be tab delimiter. It totally depends on you. So if you simply, as you can see, I copy paste that value here, and here all I'm going to do, I'm going to change the value of the delimiter. So instead of comma, I'm passing a pipe, or it could be anything. So that's how you convert from CSV to DSV. Let's move on to another section, and this time we are going to convert a PDF file to a CSV file. So as you can see, the technique is not that different. The only packages we are going to use is a little bit different. This time we are going to use last time we used the CSV package, and this time we are going to use two packages called pandas and tabular. All right, so let's go import these two packages here, import pandas as PD and import tabular. And here let's write a generic function, convert PDF to CSV. And just like the last time, we are going to define the parameter it takes: input file, output file, and the pages. So here a PDF file can have more than one page. So that's why pages equals to all means it contains all the packages here. Now let's go define some more, write some documentation inside that function definition: input file, output file, and the pages. All right. So pages, again, the page, I will come back to this. Pages gives you an option that you can define the number of pages from 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, or you can by default pages equals to all means that is going to convert all the pages inside that PDF file. All right, let's write the definition of this function. So basically it's very simply, we are going to make use of the tabular package here, to tabular.read PDF, and all this function that it accepts the variable called pages, and it accepts the input file, the input PDF file which you want to read. And once you have that file, you want to save that, actually it automatically converted into a data frame, and simply using the pandas data frame, all you need to do, call that function called toCSV and simply write that. Again, the definitions are, as you can see, this is very, there are only 2 lines inside this function, but everything inside, coded inside the inside those 2 packages for your convenience. And rest is, as you can see, just like the previous 2 conversion, we'll simply write the generate function and we'll pass these 2 parameters, input file and output file. Let's move on to another conversion. And here, this time, interestingly, we are going to convert an image to a text. Now, in past, I have already, created a video on this, PyTesseract and PIL, that means PyPillow module. So these 2, again, you need to first install these 2 packages, PyTesseract and PIL. And we are going to make use of these 2 packages and to convert from images to text. And so first, let's go import those 2 modules here from PIL import image. And as you can see, if you recall, I created a couple of more than 1 videos on this topic. So if you want to refer to that, please go through this link and you'll find I've covered this in extensive detail. So here, very simply, just like the other conversion method, I'm going to define a generate function, which takes an image path. Let's include some documentation. Very simply, we are going to, first use the pillow, that means PIL module, to open that image file, and then we are going to use PyTesseract to read the content of that file. And whatever content, PyTesseract is like an OCR, is a OCR technology. So, and it reads the content of the images. So, and then all you need to do, whatever the content is read, you store that into a variable called text, and you are going to write that text to the output where you would desire. All right, so that's pretty simple. Now let's go move on to the last conversion, where I'm going to convert an image to PDF. So simply same thing. We are going to use the PIL, that means image library here, and path library is only, I'm using it to for the file path. I could have used the OS module as well. So here, as you can see, the generic function images to PDF, it accepts 2 parameters, images and output file. And in this function, I'm writing this function where you can accept more than 1 image. So we have to loop through this images array. So the first image is equal to image.open, and I'm going to read the first image by default here. Later we'll create we can create a for loop, to iterate through those images array. So first, let's go create a PDF file. The reason is, when you're creating the PDF file, you want to define the size of the file. So let's take the first parameter of the image, and let's read that size of that first image into a variable, and first we'll create the first page of the PDF, and then follow up images in that in your images array. They will just follow along the size of the same the PDF which you have created in the first first variable here. So let's recap here. In the images file, that means number of images, what you want to do, you want to read the first image, create a PDF file, take the image and put that inside the PDF. And then what you want to do, you want to iterate through the number of images, read the subsequent images and paste it in that PDF file one at a time. So for example, you have 10 images. So you will eventually convert to a 1 PDF file with 10 pages. And finally, you just do the PDF file.save. Once you execute that, then it will be, it's very intuitive code. It looks scary, but it's not that bad. All right, and then all you need to do, you need to pass an array of images, output file name, and simply call this function. So now let's go, cover the last topic, compression and decompression. I'm going to show you how you can convert a 1 video file and how you can compress it and decompress it back. Again, it's all, making use of appropriate packages to, compress and decompress a video file here. So let's import these packages here, gzip and movie.py.editor. All right, so here simply we are going to, first define the input file, output file, and the compressed file. So input file is the MP4 file, video file which you want to compress, and compressed file is the compressed version of it. And decompression, like, suppose you want to decompress that file, let's define that variable and we'll create separate method for decompression. So here inside that with context, so I'm going to, first we are going to read that input file in read binary mode, and at the same time I'm going to open that file in compressed mode. So I'm doing the gzip. As you can see, I'm opening 2 files here, one in read binary mode, other in the write binary mode. Simply you read the content of that input file using that video flip file clip method, and then simply you write that video file using the write video file here. Again, these methods are they are defined in their packages. You don't need to do anything new here. Simply call those functions here. Similarly, just like the compress, as you can see, I could have copy pasted. We just use the decompression method here, but we just reverse it. Is open the compress file and is just going to create a decompressed file out of it. So, that's all I wanted to cover in this particular video. I wanted to show you how you can use the different conversion techniques and compression methods here. If you have any issues with any of the code, please open a issue log at my GitHub repository and I'll be happy to help you out. Thank you very much.